driver's ed. And it kind of concerns me a little bit. You know, I'm really concerned about such a young person driving.
How old is she?
She will be 14 in June.
Yeah, okay.
So
She's a teenager.
yes.
And is it allowed to drive when she's 14?
She is allowed to have a learner's permit and drive with a parent. You know, and then later on get her full license. But it still concerns me that the maturity level of a 13 or a 14-year-old might not be where it would be if she was older. You know, and that just weighs heavy on my heart that, you know, that my child is maybe not able to react. I think she could react quickly, but like think things through.
That's right.
You know, I sometimes worry about her being a little bit immature for her age. You know, she's one of the younger ones in her class, so some of her classmates are a little bit older, you know, and are a little more calm, where she tends to maybe overreact a little bit, you know, to things, and it just really
concerns you.
It just really concerns me, yeah, because if you're not thinking a couple steps ahead when you're driving, what do I do next? What do I do next? If something happens and you're not paying attention, you know, you could change someone else's life.
That's right.
You know, it would affect someone, could possibly affect them forever if you were to have an accident. So.
Understand. When you said about that she's not, mature, and what do you mean about that?
Well, for instance, we went shopping for a dress, and she tried on a certain dress, and it wasn't a very nice looking dress for her body shape. And when I said, you know, I don't particularly care for that dress, then she says, "Oh, you think my butt looks big?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't say your butt looked big.
That's right.
I'm saying the dress,
Yeah.
you know." But she doesn't like criticism.
That's right.
You know, and I try to be constructive because I don't want her, I don't want to hurt her self-esteem. She's kind of at that young age where, you know, it's hard to be a mom and be appropriate. You know, it's like I want her to dress appropriately. I don't want her to dress inappropriately. And the dress we were trying to find was for an important church function. She was confirmed in the church, so I wanted her to be presented, yes, looking good and looking nice. And, you know, and she just had a hard time understanding, and you know, and I don't know. It's hard nowadays with all the teenagers and their social aspects, just to get them to
make the good choices.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. You know, there's just so many distractions nowadays that it's easy for them to get off instead of staying focused.
So did she get something she wanted for her confirmation?
As far as the dress goes, yes, we finally, we actually ended up with 2 dresses. We found a dress, and then we found another dress later that was actually better, and I actually liked it better too, so we took the first dress back. So she is good at compromising, and she's a good kid.
That's cool.
But her driving just scares me, and then I shouldn't say it scares me, it concerns me. And then my husband and I kind of argued over whether or not she should take driver's ed. You know, and I thought she should take driver's ed and practice driving with somebody else. And, you know, the school has more teaching tools to offer, you know, versus, you know, what I could open a book and teach her what's in the book. But the school has simulators and that kind of thing, so I think that would be better. You know, but my husband was a little bit concerned about her maturity level and the cost, because you have to pay for it. So do you think that's a good idea to send her to driver's ed?
What do you think about that?
I think it's a good idea. My husband was just a little bit unsure. He wanted to wait a year, and I thought we should send her now and let her practice driving with the both of us. And you know, of course, she wants to do that too. You know, and I think if we start younger, then we can encourage her to be a better driver and practice with us, so then she gets the basics in her mind, so she doesn't have to think about them. You know, and then wait later when she drives with her friends, then she will, you know, she'll have that good foundation. Yeah. But
Is she now doing the practice at school?
not yet.
Not yet.
They're just doing the book stuff.
Okay.
You know, I haven't taken her out. My husband tried, and then she didn't listen, so then he got mad and he yelled at her, and she got her feelings hurt. And
She didn't listen to your husband.
she didn't understand what he was saying.
What to do.
He wasn't very clear, I don't think, to her.
Was she nervous maybe for the first time?
Now that you mention that, I think she could have been very nervous for the first time. Yeah.
So do you think that if you maybe try to practice with her in a gentle way, do you think that she could maybe respond well? Because the mom, sometimes we don't yell that hard with, you know, with our children.
That's true. I think maybe she could do better if we were, like you say, not around a lot of other people. Where he was at with her, I think, was an area where there was maybe too much going on, and he overreacted.
For the first time, you know, without knowing what to do.
It's hard, and the distractions, you know, it's hard, you know, because the kids are always talking on the cell phones, and talking on the cell phones is one thing, and then they're texting all the time, and you know.
That's hard.
And we have talked a little bit about, we have a console in the car, and I put my phone in there because I didn't want it to ring during church. And she did say that when I'm driving, that's where my phone will go.
That was good.
Yeah.
That
So I think there are some things maybe after, you know, these few classes she's had that
she's paying attention.
she is paying attention, and I think she does understand kind of what's that it is
the consequences of
yeah.
she need to pay attention when she drives.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard to make the kids understand that, you know, an accident is an accident, and they do happen, but you know that it could change somebody's life.
That's right. That's right.
So
I understand as a mom, you know, to allow your child to go and drive, and when you see that she's not mature yet. At the other hand, we know that if she get, you know, more practice and keep talking to her, she might maybe do well. Yeah. What is, because we've been talking about, you know, driving, you know, texting, and what is really your concern?
My real concern, I think deep down, is that, you know, I understand that, you know, she'll learn how to drive and she'll do well, you know, but my concern is an accident, you know, accidents happen so fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just concerned. You know, I know people who've been in accidents and it's changed their lives. And not always for the better, you know. And that just kind of concerns me, I guess, maybe. But I don't want her to not drive. You know, because then she would always be asking a friend for a ride. And if she's asking a friend for a ride, they're not a mature, experienced driver either.
So how are you planning then to walk with her so that you feel that security inside of you? Because the way I hear you saying, you have that fear inside of you. That you know, are you really willing to allow to let her go and practice, or you? What do you think? It seems like you're holding something. Could you tell me something about that?
I think it's hard when it's your first child.
That's right.
I really struggled with her going to kindergarten because who is going to be in charge of my child all day? You know, and once I got over the initial nervousness of letting my child go to school, then it was okay, you know. And then she went to school, and then my second child, when she went to school, it was okay. It didn't bother me so much. So I think it's just a first step.
That's right.
You know, it as a mother, you want to just surround your kids with church and comfort and, you know, just really surround them with love.
Protect
And
them.
yeah, I just want to protect them. I just want to be like I feel like God's hand is protecting me. I just want to be that hand over her, you know, and trying to. But on the other hand, I don't. Have you heard the expression a helicopter mom? You just hover over.
No, I heard
It's-
some people talking about that.
It's mostly around little children where you just hover, so if they're learning to walk, they don't fall and bump their head. And if they're learning to touch everything, they don't touch something like a stove where they would burn themselves. And I kind of feel like I'm hovering over this whole driving thing, but talking with you, I mean, it makes me realize it's not her. It's probably my problem more. I just need to let her grow up, and that's hard.
It is hard, and especially for a mom, as you say that she's the first child. You need her to be safe and well protected and making her choices. And that's mother heart, so you can't run away from that. She's gonna be 14 soon.
Yes, she is.
Gonna be 14 soon. Have you discussed about texting, using the phone? Because last time you told me that you're concerned about her texting all the time and the computer thing.
Yeah, we've actually talked about texting and driving a lot. My husband and I, he's a truck driver, and I'm a dispatcher for a different trucking company. So he and I talk a lot about the crazy things people do when they're driving. He'll tell me, yeah, I saw this lady driving all over the road when she was trying to text or trying to talk on the phone, and and then I'll share stories with him about texting and driving, and so we have these conversations in front of her,
That's good.
and sometimes